T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Own it, own it, own it, Kong. I own it. It did.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
All right. That's right. It's another Sunday evening with, 2/5 of your All Access team. It's me, Al, one half of your Dynamite Dolls, and my
Aisha.
honorable Dynamite Doll.
Hello, Aisha. We are back. Like Al said, there are a few of us missing. Other wrestling going on tonight. So it's just the two of us.
Yeah, we're here. We're having a great night. Yeah.
We're doing our thing.
Hey.
Hi. Hi, Casey.
Yeah, everyone's here. We don't need everybody else.
Right. Here we are. Al, how are you doing? How are you?
I'm good. I'm still getting over a cold, so change of weather. It's all good. But yeah, I'm ready for All Access. We're in episode 3. I think like we're in it, So we were in it this week. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling, I'm trying not to come down with something, same thing.
Yes.
I feel fine, but noticing some symptoms, so just trying to manage those and,
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's the season. Everyone's gross right now.
Right.
But we will plug along. Episode 3, AEW All Access.
Mm-hmm.
We made it to full gear this time.
Yep.
This was a big show. This is kind of what the first couple episodes have set up is full gear, and everybody's path or not path to, I think we'll kind of just break it down into people this time. Sammy and Tay are on different paths. Sammy does have a huge match at Full Gear, and Tay's being supportive, but also kind of upset that she's not on. So yeah,
I feel bad. It makes you feel bad because you see how how much she wants this, and that she felt like she was on the rise, and then it's definitely plateaued. And I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, see, you know what I mean? Like, you attach yourself to a man and look what happens. You know what I mean? But I don't want to be that cynical.
We're a little cynical here, but
she loves him, so it's fine. But it is sad, it is sad to see that she has not been as prominent in the women's division as she'd like to be, and as honestly as I'd like her to be, So what do you think, Al?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's not shying away from the fact that it's kind of affected her career, their relationship. And Sammy does say, he feels bad about it. And he's like, but he also makes valid points that like wrestling couples, one's here, one's there. It's a whole balancing act because very rare couples are on the same level as each other.
Mm-hmm.
Most are, back and forth. So she's just kind of on that calm down right now, but we've seen her come back. We'll see, obviously, hopefully later on we'll see her thrive. But I guess how you could be feeling because it's your job and you want to be on TV doing your job. And she said she didn't want to be doing what she's doing and just being kind of that pretty face on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You see, like, listen. I can't.
She probably is, because what do you do when you're at home with your significant other? You're going to complain about your job.
Yeah. And unfortunately, now there's cameras in their faces. So now we're going to hear about it. Part of me feels like she thinks she's way bigger than she actually is. You know what? I will say she did say something about like being, one of the top women in the women's division. Like she did say something like that. And I had to say that and be like,
yeah, I heard that too. I said,
yeah, we can name 5 more that are.
I'm not diminishing your accomplishments in the ring, because she's gotten a lot better since she came in. But that's a bold statement, ma'am.
I think where she is currently, that is a bold statement. And I think it's just sad to see because we know that they shot this obviously leading up to Full Gear. And now in 2023, April of 2023, she's still, right?
Yeah, we haven't seen her since, what, January, after that big tag match?
Yeah, so I don't know. I want so much for her and she wants so much for her. And so hopefully, we'll be able to, again, like, I think it's sad because we know the trajectory, right? We know where we are now as opposed to like 6 months ago that we're still in the same spot. So like, what do we have? What do we have?
She does make like a good point though. She's like, if I wasn't with you and doing this, I wouldn't have worked with Bryan Danielson or Jericho. And she gets that experience of like getting to like sit in on their knowledge. And even if she isn't like actively working with them, she can just kind of see how they work. And she does have an advantage that way. But yeah, exactly, Casey. Yeah. What is her character?
Mm-hmm.
I think she kind of started to figure out. She got the wrestling, and now she needs to find out who she is, unattached to Sammy.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I mean,
but
even the thing that she pitched to the Elite, I think that was last episode. I think it was episode 2, where she pitched to the Elite. It was like, and of course, again, like maybe we didn't see the whole conversation, but it was very much like, this doesn't seem to be a full storyline. It was like, well, I don't know.
She said, "Can I work with Mercedes?" And that was it. It was like, how do we get there?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but on the other end, Sammy does have his big match, and he's nervous and excited for that because that's a big moment. You're working with Bryan Danielson, Claudio, Jericho for that Ring of Honor championship, which they never name, but I understand. But it's a big moment for him, and he feels like it's his time to step up and prove that he can hang with them. So he's got a lot going on in general, home life and work life. And there's like a backstage where Claudio even says, like, the day of Full Gear, he's like, I've been there, I understand what this means, to prove yourself. And we see him getting that gear made, the ugly gear.
You know what? But like, shout out to Sandra because legendary.
Oh, nothing against Miss Sandra, would never ever. But she just makes it.
Exactly. But if that's what he wants, that's what he gets. So, and that's what he got.
Yeah, that's his vibe. he does, obviously, we're 6 months away, Full Gear, no spoilers, clearly, guys. He does lose, but he feels good. He feels like he's in like this spot that he's going places in his career, and he's really happy. Tony seems happy. Tony was like real excited watching this match, like cheesing. And so that was interesting. How are we feeling about Sammy episode 3?
You know what? I think something you said last time was like, please don't make this show make me like Sammy. And it's actually kind of annoying because I feel like
know.
I am liking him. And I feel like that might be like the entire point of this show. And it's actually kind of annoying. So I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like he just like incredibly passionate about what he does. And, you know, and obviously, you know, his character outside of the ring is definitely someone who's just like more sensitive and who, you know, is really trying to take in and everything that's going on and accomplish, you know, more things that he ever thought he would. And so it's like, well, here we go. So yeah.
I know, it's really upsetting. This is really, you know, we say it all the time over in Ring of Honor that Ring of Honor Tony's a menace, but I think Tony Khan is a menace because he knew what he was doing when he said, "Yeah, put Sammy and Tay on here." He is rehabbing their image, and I am mad about it. I
Yeah.
don't like them. Look, I'm rooting for these people. Oh,
Right.
God.
Hopefully by the end of this the run, Casey, I'm with you.
That's
Yes,
facts. We
yes,
saw her on Total Divas. She is a star. We need her on All Access.
yes.
Icon.
Hopefully by the time all of the episodes air, hopefully like we will be elsewhere, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't know how many episodes we have. I don't know.
We got 3 more. I think we're halfway. I think we only have 6 episodes, and we're
Oh,
skipping this
really?
week, guys. This week there's no episode, so
Yeah. Okay. So
well, Casey.
I guess we'll see.
I didn't say I like him. Like again, I'm not buying the T-shirt, but like I'm coming around, and I don't find him as annoying as he once was. Like he's growing up. We're seeing his emotional grow up,
Yes.
and it's upsetting.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yep. What do you say? You know, what do you Yes, preach, Al.
You do stupid things when you're young, guys. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But we're moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're gonna see where Sammy goes next on this show. He's feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see in 2 weeks what's happening. We can go to the Bucks. Yeah, sure. Okay. I don't have a photo for the Bucks, so we're just gonna use this. So the Bucks are real nervous. Real nervous about coming back. They're gonna wrestle. They don't know how the crowd's gonna react. It's been 2 months since they've been gone from this mystery thing where where if you know it's what they're essentially All Access is doing, but you know, they're practicing their entrances. They got people going, "Oh, were you guys gonna be face heel? Like, what are we gonna do?" How, you know, they get that reaction on Dynamite before Full Gear when they are announced for the triple or the I was reading Casey's at the same time before the trios championship. They get a good reaction, so they're like, "Whew, okay," so they're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you do, Casey. But yeah, how do you feel about seeing the Bucks and their return?
I mean, I think it's great. I think just like because they're all like mysterious and they're not talking about what we all know, it just like makes it kind of weird, right? It's like you're talking around all these things, and it's like
Yeah.
it makes it really difficult, like as a viewer. Like as a viewer, we know what's happening, but you all aren't saying what's happening. So then we're having to pretend that we don't know what's going on. And
well,
then
like it's like we know because we're in it and we agreed it. But if it's someone like, I don't know, you're like, "Hey Ma, watch this show with me," and your mom's like, "Okay," she's kind of vibing. She's like, "Well, why weren't they around 2 months?" Or you know, you have somebody who doesn't watch it, like, "What happened?" Like they're dancing around it when they should just say, there was an incident and we had to leave for 2 months. We
Yeah.
cannot go into, they should say if you're gonna make it a whole thing, you kind of have to be like something happened.
That's
Yeah.
you're absolutely right, because if they're making it seem like, oh, like you said, if they're capitalizing on this, they're returning from what?
Yeah,
Because
why?
honestly, that doesn't have to, if you're not going to tell us, that doesn't have to be a storyline. We can just start with them being there, and
We've been back for 2 months. Ta-da!
exactly. But no, that's not what you're doing. And Casey, yes, break the NDA. We all know anyway. I mean, you don't have to break it, but like we all know, so you can allude to it without giving the details, because we're aware anyway. Like,
Yeah, this is supposed to be their mainstream breakout. You can't dance around the issue. If your whole show is like we're gonna go right in, and they have been going right in with Thunder Rosa and with like putting the Bucks on here and Sammy and like Eddie and like pulling those real life like headlines and putting them on TV. You can't dance around this. Just just say there was an incident we cannot speak on, and that is why we haven't been here. That's all you have to do. They make things so hard in AEW.
I agree, because even with for example, Britt and Saraya, their promo, they had the picture there, the card, the words on the screen basically saying, AEW asked us not to record this, whatever, record audio for this. Y'all could easily do the same thing and be like, we're not able to discuss the full, or whatever y'all want to do.
For legal reasons, we cannot say anything like this. But there wasn't, it's so easy, guys.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yes. Yep. There we go. Break the NDA. I am correct.
But yeah, we see them come back with the generic music over it, which really threw off the vibe without Carry On My Wayward Son.
It was weird. It was like, oh, they don't have the music rights.
I get it, but also, ooh, weird.
It's like, what is this song?
But they have their big moment, and they're like, this can mess up our legacy, because if people don't react, if people react badly, or however they're going to feel, is going to affect the rest of their career, for the mysterious unknown reason. So, but they make it through. They have that amazing match, and they're like, okay, we're back. They're like, we've been back for a couple weeks, but they feel like, okay, we're in the groove. Everything, they can breathe again, I feel like.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm not fully invested in this. I'm not quite where Casey is, where basically like not. I don't hate them, but I'm just not invested in this particular storyline for this show.
Yeah, because if they're gonna do it all the way, like we've been saying.
Yeah,
because it's just weird. Also, our girl Britt. Here she comes. She's still on one about Thunder Rosa. She and her BFF, Tony Schiavone.
I love that they're BFFs. Like,
honestly, love it.
I love it.
It's like, when you have a work colleague that's a little bit older than you, but you guys still vibe, and you're like that's what they are.
And like I feel like she fills him in on like the gossip, right?
Yeah.
Like he knows a certain type of gossip because of where he is, and she knows and then they come together and they gossip together. That's what
he knows all the young people slang and tea, like he gets it. And that's what I loved when he was like, you kids need to stop worrying. Like, just worry about your match. Like I love it. More Tony Schiavone, honestly. Who knew?
Honestly.
That's the one, yeah.
Yes.
Tony's not here for this.
He's like, I've been doing this too long. I've seen more drama than He's
like, this is it? You're worried that she's not coming to work? He's like, do you know what happened in the 90s? I worked for WCW. This is petty. This is so petty for him. But she's still mad. And she went on the internet and finds out there's going to be something going on with the title. Because that's how you find out things from work when you work at wrestling, I guess.
Yep. Interesting.
Well, good thing Nikki's not here to see that.
Ooh.
I just think she's very passionate, and it comes off very aggressive. And I also think that's where Thunder Rosa comes from too. They're two very aggressive personalities. And they both want to be right.
I think so
It's
too.
hard.
It's hard. I also listen. I stand by what I said last week that if Britt, being the first person signed and being the head of like the women's division, like it was built, with her in mind. I think that she, for her, she takes that very seriously, and it's a lot at stake. And like I said before, her storyline is put to the side for this, and she's like, no,
Yeah.
no. So I think that's what it is too. And I don't
But
know
I
if she hates that it's not revolving around her. I don't know. I wouldn't go that far. But like you said, I think that, Britt is coming from one side, Thunder Rosa is coming from another side, and they're very similar in that way, but like approaching it two different ways.
Yeah. But I also think Tony's right. Like, she had to worry about wrestling Saraya in her return match. She
Yeah.
can't be worried about outside stuff. Like, it's kind of petty. She can't do anything about it. It is what it is at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So just you have something on the pay-per-view, so worry about that. And she does. She, she gets in that mode of like, okay, we see them doing those pre-tapes before the pay-per-view, and she's like, we got to nail this. And she's very worried, because it's a big deal. She's like, she tells Tony, people seen Saraya's movie. Like, if they've never seen wrestling, they've probably seen her movie.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, she could feel the pressure.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess that is a lot to take on. And
That is.
she's like, she's even said, I watched Saraya in the ring before I trained, and then they trained. So that's like such a crazy like thing to wrap your brain around. And then we get to Full Gear, and they're both nervous. We see Saraya in the ring working out the match with her brother, who's also a wrestler. He gets to travel and help her, and so we get to see that. We get to see Britt working out the match, and Britt's like, I'm always nervous. I always wonder why I'm wrestling like an hour before.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, but this is the most anxiety I've ever had. And Saraya's like the same kind of way. Her brother's like telling what it means to their family that she couldn't wrestle. She's been through so much. Like, we know Saraya's story, and that they didn't think this was going to be possible. And he would like do whatever he could to see her wrestle. So it's a lot happening here.
Yeah. Going back to talking about Britt and Thunder Rosa, Britt's way of coping with Adam's injury. I think she was able to escape when she was on her soapbox about Thunder. Possibly. Possibly. You don't know.
Yeah, that could be. The way they edited their Full Gear match was so dramatic. And I understand it's a reality show, but like, we watched it. We all watched it. And I was like, okay, I get it, but it took me out a little.
It's fine. I'm like, fine. You gotta up the ante, you gotta up the stakes, and so I get it. But yes, you're right. Like, we did watch, and it wasn't that dramatic. But
that was the first move they took. They slowed it down so much. I was like, she got up, like, oh. But seeing like Tony right there, just like freaking out and be like worried, and everybody watching this match, and it turns out okay, and everyone survived. Saraya wins. It's a great match. It was a really good match. Yeah, it was a big deal. How do we?
Could have been made from here. Remember that the most eyes on that. Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, if you go back and like watch this episode, and they're kind of going through the pay-per-view, they just brush off MJF winning the title. And they're like, and it's time for this match, which really felt like the main event. The way they presented it was like, this is the biggest match.
I mean, again, I think it is, I think that is a big deal. And you're right. Like, Britt had other things to worry about, mainly, her being concerned about not hurting Saraya, right? Like you have to be the one, and somebody that you look up to, that you know, as a wrestler, as a person, and you have to be the one to welcome them back, right? Into this thing, you know, like that is scary. And so yeah, I could totally see where Tony was coming from. He's like, focus. And so
Yeah.
yeah, so I think, yeah, we enjoyed it, you know. Saraya came out on top, and you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
And nothing happened. Nothing. She was, well, I mean, understandably, Britt was very nervous. She's like, working with somebody with a neck injury is terrifying. Yeah, of course. It sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, I could not imagine. But they killed it. And, at the end, we see everybody celebrating. We see Tony celebrating. And that's basically it. We do get a little peek into the media scrum with MJF. And was this filmed on a webcam from like 2003? What was that?
What was that? That's what I'm trying to. I'm like, wait a minute, y'all have access to like probably a lot of their catalog. Why are we getting someone's iPhone 13 footage?
It was not even iPhone 13.
Like iPhone 8. Like
It is the same camera that Britney Spears films all her footage on. Why?
Related and like what was? I don't know. But yeah, we saw his
his tantrum.
His little tantrum.
We also, I didn't even know, I forgot to notice, we opened the show with Tony leaving his private plane, which it just made me giggle. It's just, I don't know why it made me chuckle.
The man is like, he is a strange, like a very like in a way that's fascinating.
It truly is. I want to see more of Tony. I thought we were going to see way more, but I'm ready.
So do I. It's like, what? Like, I'm fascinated. I really am. And I did not expect to see him like, I didn't expect him to see him behind the scenes and like, you know.
I love watching that. I don't, because he gets all into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, he's working, but he's like, that was great. Like, you get the full Tony experience.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, and I think it makes me wonder, because, so many people are saying, like, Tony is a great person to work for, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, how much, and for me, I wondered, like, how much of that is really real? Or are you just trying to keep your jobs? But it just, like, seems like people really like working for it, that he is.
I can't with this comic.
People with ancient iPhones feel seen, please. Y'all with your Android. You know what? I'm not even going to make fun of Androids. I'm not even going to go there because.
Disrespect. My Android takes quality footage. Okay.
I know. The cameras have, listen. But I feel like they, getting to know Tony through these various outlets on Twitter or on here or wherever, like, it just seems like he really is like kind of what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
For the most part, and so, yeah.
We've discussed it before. He gets awkward when he has to be on screen as like on Dynamite or something. Mm-hmm. But I think seeing him in his natural element of backstage and behind the scenes is kind of interesting, because he's not trying to be on because he doesn't know how to be on. He is a generally awkward human being, which I respect as another awkward human being. I get it. So
Same. There you go.
Maybe a little bit of both.
I feel like maybe more of genuinely liking to work for him, because how much are you really going to like your boss if like you're unhappy? Like Ty, like, you know what I mean? Like Ty, like what's going on there, right? Like, is she gonna?
You can only fake or say nice things about your company for so long, or you can, WWE, they've said it for years. They've worked around ways to say things of like unhappiness. So there's ways to, if you're unhappy, to say things, and they've never ever said. They could dance around saying Tony, oh, I love working at AEW. The end. You don't have to say, and Tony's great, or and this. So I think we're seeing it here. I just feel like that vibe is just what they have. If it's a struggle. There's a lot that we complain about AEW, but I think they all generally do have that, like, let's go. We want to ride for Tony. He has this idea. I think they generally do have that idea, because I think I said it last week. It is a startup. So you have that startup mentality of, we're in this. We're all gonna do it. and this guy, we believe in this guy, not in a culty way, I swear, but maybe in a culty way. I don't know.
But no, I mean, possibly. But I think you're right. Like, I think that sometimes it's easy to forget that they're only a few years, at this point, 4 years in, and like
Yeah, 3.5. Yeah.
3.5, yeah, going on 4 years in, and so lots of things to work out. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I think we also see next week Ty and Ruby.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Ooh, interesting.
I would be terrified of Ruby Soho. Like, girl.
Absolutely.
But you know what? But Ty is like, I am like, what was she? Judo? Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and judo. So like, she looks unassuming, but she can tear you up as well. So
that is true. Ruby is scrappy.
Yeah.
But Tay is Brazilian and knows jiu-jitsu. So I actually don't know who I want. I don't want either. You know what? I don't think I want either. I'm out. No.
We don't want none. I mean, I'm excited to kind of see that storyline play out. Yeah. And
I think we also see some Eddie Kingston the next episode, if I remember accurately, which Santana's not here. So yes, we love that. We love Eddie in this house. Get well soon, Eddie. Terrible. But yeah, I'm are you still enjoying? We're episode 3. We're in. We kind of know what the vibe is. Are you still into it?
I think so. I'm into it. Again, whatever, like with the Elite, I'm not super into it yet. I do want to see, listen, Kate said I want Nyla Rose. Like, if Nyla Rose is on the show, like, honestly, where's Stokely at? I feel like
we have to move it. We can't put it on cable TV. We got to put it on HBO Max. Or Max, or whatever they're naming it, because we got to just let them go all out.
Because that would be hilarious. Now, these storylines, yeah, I'm into it. Fine, we're only going to get a few more episodes, so we'll see kind of where, what happens. But I don't know. What do you think?
I enjoy it too, but I also think like they also have side people. Like we saw Claudio. We see like Jeff Jarrett was randomly on there talking. We see like other people's opinions and kind of how they're involved in the show, so it's not just like completely these people alone. We get kind of everything, like we get kind of the entire company as opposed to like just a few. So maybe next season we get some more people. Maybe we get hopefully we're hoping for a season 2. So maybe. Or we just completely do a separate one with Nyla and Private Party. That's just wild. Just wild. Let them go. Stokely, just wild.
Would love that.
That's the adult one. That's not safe for work at work.
Give that to us, Tony Khan.
Yeah, Tony, we want the real unfiltered. AEW unfiltered. That's the one I want.
There you go.
I swear to God, if I see that name in 6 months being used for a copyright,
you better get your lawyer ready right now. Get your lawyer ready out, because, I don't know. With this Saturday morning collision, whatever's happening on Saturdays.
Yeah, I gotta work Saturdays now. I don't know.
Yeah, working around the clock. So
yeah. AEW Unfiltered happens. You know what? It is 6:47 Pacific Standard Time on April 16th. I will remember this.
Listen, I'm going to see that locker room brawl footage. Brawl footage. I know it's out there.
That is Dark Side of the Ring in about 15 to 20 years.
Yo, baby, I will be sad. Let's go. Hopefully not season 15. Like, just like give it to us in like 2 years. No,
that's not 2 years. Now we're getting it like we got earliest 5, max 15 to 20.
Yeah,
damn. I know, it's disappointing. Somebody leak it. Anyways,
we're not endorsing any kind of anything.
Criminal activity.
However,
But-
you know, things get hacked.
all the time.
Happen, you know, passwords are leaked and
Happens to politicians. It happens to celebrities all the time.
every day.
Would be a weird shame if that's the one that got out. I don't know.
We don't know.
My bad. Just whatever. That's the one we want.
We'll be there support. We'll be
We're here.
supportive women's wrestling talk. We'll be
Yes.
supportive, and we'll, you know, be here if any wrestlers would like to talk about, you know, any of the.
If anybody wants to break an NDA, I'm sure we will oblige. But
TK is
why?
probably
She's
like, no,
maybe I don't know. But you know what? Let's throw it to commercial. We're getting crazy over here. Where you can find all of our shows. Speaking of TK, she's going to tell you where to find us all week.
Hey peeps, TK Trinidad here, boss lady of Women's Wrestling Talk. And I want to say thank you so much for watching, because you've got millions of options. Plus, you don't have to worry about sharing your password to check us out. But while you're here, hopefully you know we have so many more shows to watch, like Turnbuckle Glam, Raw post-show, WoW post-show, AEW Dynamite post-show, Women's Wrestling Army post-show, NXT post-show, Impact Wrestling post-show, AEW Rampage and SmackDown Live post-show, On the Scroll, ROH post-show, WWT Live, plus all of our interviews with the hottest women's wrestlers in the game. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our website at www.talkpod.com and follow us on all social media platforms at www.talkpod, and make sure to spread the word. That means send this to the group chat. Yes, even the person with the green bubble. Thanks again so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao for now.
That's right. That's where you can find us every day, basically.
We're around.
We are around, and we'll be back. We will not be back next week. We will not be here because there's no All Access this week. It is preempted sports, I assume. I don't know. But yeah, this was fun. Did you have a good time?
I did, of course.
We'll be back we'll be back with our full power, hopefully in like 2 weeks, guys. Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody else will have a lot to say, so get excited for it.
Yes. So, where can we find your lovely face on the internet before we head out?
You can find me on Twitter at Aisha Watches. I tweet about things that I'm watching, wrestling and otherwise, and also I just tweet random things into the void. So, I mean, come over there if you want to be thoroughly confused. And you can also find me on Thursdays with my lovely co-host Shay. We do Women's Wrestling Army. So check us out. Al, where can we find you?
Oh yeah, you guys know to find me. Al, yeah, 2_, and I'm here every Wednesday and Thursday for AEW and Ring of Honor. Next week, I'm pretty sure there's a new Turnbuckle Glam. If anything changes, you know, you'll find it on our socials. Yeah, that was it. I had a great time, and we'll see you next time.
We will see you next time. Bye.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on